Building businesses is the number one way to build wealth.
It's lower risk. You don't have to have nearly the overhead. You don't have to worry about market shifts. You go out there, you find these properties, you sell it to people that want to add to their portfolio or do the flips themselves. You build a system in place to where then you replace yourself in that business. And now you've got passive cash flow coming from an actual real estate business.
All right, I've got Mr. TTP himself, the brand new owner of Wholesale Inc. You probably thought he owned Wholesale Inc. anyways, but now he is the official owner. He is a guy making content, helping people get their very first deal in wholesale.
Yep.
He's on a mission. I got Brent Daniels.
Hey, Ryan, great to be here.
Yeah, bro.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I want to bring a lot of energy. I want to go bananas with you for the next however long we go. So let's do it, man.
Yeah, bro. So I feel like you've been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
How long?
5 years.
That's it?
5 years. I know. It's just I do a lot, so it seems like it's a lot more than 5 years. But yeah, 2017, I got on stage in April in Utah for Wholesaling Inc. and talked about making calls. It was a new concept, right? A brand new concept to the world of real estate investing, where you find ugly houses out there, you get the phone number for the owners of those properties, and you actually call them. And you find some opportunities. And listen, every industry has done this since the dawn of business.
Yeah.
Every industry. You go to commercial real estate, you go to residential real estate, you go to hotels, you go to resorts, you go to insurance. Everybody picks up the phone and prospects. And it just really wasn't part of our industry. There wasn't a lot of tools for it. So I got really loud about it and started saying you need to go and talk to people, right? TTP. And then it just kind of blew up from there.
Yeah. I mean, how long were you real estate investing before that kind of blew up?
So 2004, I thought the only way to get into real estate was to buy deals on the market, right? And so it was, how do you get deals on the market? Well, you get your real estate license. So I got my real estate license and fell into that. It was a really hot market. And then it kind of all disintegrated by 2008
Yeah.
and 9. And then I started buying properties at the foreclosure auction and then doing some flips. Did about 100 flips and then just discovered wholesaling in 2013.
So you heard about wholesaling, and, in 2013, wholesaling was not popular at all.
Right.
Nobody was talking about it.
No.
Where'd you hear about it, and how'd you start doing it?
Well, I didn't hear about it.
Oh.
Like it was this mystery thing. I would go out and I would door knock houses in neighborhoods where I knew that there was a lot of builders, a lot of fix and flippers, real desirable areas, a place called Arcadia in Phoenix. And I would go to the door of people that had these properties that were overgrown or they were beat up. And I would try to talk to the property owner and I would give them to my investor broker, as my broker at the time. And I would give him to this guy and he would pay me a commission. I was like, great. And then I'd look to make sure I was getting paid my commission. And lo and behold, he's not on the closing statement. Some other company's on the closing statement, and he gets this thing called an assignment fee. And he's like, I was like, what, are you buying this? What is happening? And he's like, no. I actually sold the contract. And I was like, what are you talking about? How do you sell a contract? And he's like, yeah, well, you locked it up for me and I just sold the contract to my buddy and he paid me. And it was 30 grand, 30 grand and 32 grand that he had made. He made 92,000 of the first 3 deals that I brought to him.
Wow.
And that's how I discovered what wholesaling was.
You're like, I should just be doing this.
And this is for everybody in your audience. I mean, anybody, and you've got a really broad audience, right? You've got people that are doing all sorts of things and you've got a lot of different companies. But in real estate, you can literally go out, you can find an ugly house, you can talk to the property owner, you could put that property under contract. And magically, you know as well as I do, because you have a company that does this every single day, magically, you have an asset.
Yeah.
You have an asset. You have exclusive rights to purchase this discounted property. That's all wholesaling is. And you sell that asset to somebody that wants to pay for it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So 2013, you find out about this wholesaling thing.
Yep.
And you just start doing it full time, huh?
Yeah.
Is that how it played out?
Well, no, I was a real estate agent. So as a real estate agent, you've got your center of influence. You've got your referrals that you have to go. And then I was always making calls from 9 to noon every day. I would call all the for sale by owners, all the canceled and expired listings. And all I did was I adjusted. I go, wait, I can just drive around town and I can find all the ugliest properties, get the phone number, and I'll just call them instead of calling for listings. And that was the transition. And it took me a good 2 years to transition to go full time.
Wow.
Because I was like, I don't know if I can build a business from this. I don't know if it's just fluke that I get these things, right? You're kind of testing it out, but you also, it's like somebody starting a business or a side hustle, but they have a full-time job. Right. You still got to keep your attention on the full-time job because you have bills to pay, you have responsibilities. And so I wanted to make sure that I could take care of my responsibilities and still grow this thing. So it took a couple years to transition. But then when I did, it was just bananas. I mean, I went from, as an agent making a couple $100,000 a year to then $750 to $1 million a year wholesaling real estate.
So, I mean, first off, you were actually a pretty good agent.
Yeah.
Far better than I.
Yeah.
I never made 6 figures as an agent. And you figured out wholesaling pretty quickly. In a couple of years to go to almost making $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
that ain't no joke. And it's not like there was all these buyers back then either. It's not like today where, well, I guess today buyers are a lot more scarce. But, the last few years, buyers have been very easy to find. So 2017, what happens? You start to get, obviously, people hear about you and what you're doing. How did you become this guy?
So in 2016, I listened to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast.
Okay.
And I joined Wholesaling Inc.
As a student.
But I didn't join, Ryan, because I was like, oh, I don't know. There was a mystery to the business. It wasn't anything like that. I joined because I loved Tom Kroll.
Okay.
Tom Kroll was the host. He was the coach. He had this incredible personality. He was just wonderful. And I was like, I need to be close to this guy. I need to know him, right? I need him in my inner circle. And the way to get into the inner circle of people that are coaching or mentoring or whatever is you pay and you get into there. And it wasn't like, oh, all of a sudden, here's my phone number. Here's, my contact. Let's talk every day type of thing. It was, hey, go in and be loud in the group, show people how you're being successful and help out other people that are getting started. So I started getting real loud. I started posting the checks, being that asshole that was posting the big checks and being like, I got this from just picking up the phone. It was one phone call and I got this deal and we made $42,000. It was absolutely incredible. And people would just be reaching out and I tell them exactly what was going on. There was no mystery. I didn't keep it close to my chest or anything like that. I was like, this is how you go do it. And so he was like, dude, you got to come on. You got to coach people on this. And so it was like a trial run in April of 2017. And then by September of 2017, it was a full-blown coaching program under the Wholesaling Inc. umbrella.
So you built your own coaching program that was centered around talking to people.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So just cold calling.
Yeah.
So what is there to cold calling that's people don't know?
Well, listen, there's a lot of things. A lot of people are really nervous to talk to strangers. We're programmed not to talk to strangers forever. They don't sit us down in 3rd grade and go, where are all my expressive personalities? Where are all my driver personalities? Let's sit you guys in a room here. We're going to teach you how to effectively communicate with strangers so you can go make a ton of money, right? Or be a really successful and be a leader, right? Yeah. They don't do that. They go, don't talk to strangers. So you have to get comfortable with the process. And part of it is your first 5 seconds when you call somebody, you get the next 30 seconds. So your vocal first impression matters. Your ability to confirm and approve everything that somebody's saying so you don't build friction in a conversation so that you don't, you need to have active listening. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Right. All of these things build your skills as an effective person on your phone. And I'm telling you, you become effective on your phone, you are unstoppable. I don't care what industry you're in.
Right.
Your ability to effectively communicate is your most powerful asset. Most powerful skill. So why wouldn't you talk to as many people as possible, understand the different personalities and communication styles, and get really good at it?
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and that's what I taught in the real estate wholesaling space.
So from what you have seen, right? 2017, you start telling people, hey, go out and talk to people. Makes sense, right? You're going to not only generate leads and prospect, but your skills are going to get better at closing and speaking. And I say the same thing all the time. I'm like, look, do you think I got good at filming videos just by reading about filming videos or watching videos? Like, no, I just filmed videos and I got better at speaking. I didn't get good at hosting podcast guests by talking to myself.
Yep.
I had to interview people, right? And so I think people really forget that part of it. I think people try to go too quickly to the delegation stage when they're not quite ready. And maybe I'm guilty of this because I'm such a big proponent of delegating like as soon as possible, but only once you have the skills and you're properly able to teach what you're about to delegate.
100%. I mean, I love that you said that. People want to delegate skills. And it's like, you've interviewed some incredible people on here, and they will tell you have to get in the mud. You have to get in. You got to put in the work for a long time. You got to be in front of your customers, of your clients, of whatever you're trying to build a lot. You got to have a lot of conversations before you start bringing other people in to take over that role, because you're going to bring in the wrong people.
Right.
You're going to be bringing the people that maybe interview well, or maybe they're your homies, or maybe they're just, a referral from somebody, or just somebody that is like, oh yeah, I heard you talking. Let me work for you type of thing. And you know nothing about them. Right. This happens all the time.
I didn't.
Right. We all have. Right.
Yep.
But you learn that, oh, okay, they don't have the skills to be able to do this. I need to get better at understanding what skills I need for this role. So you got to do it yourself. And so I talked to 45,000 property owners, Ryan. 45,000 conversations I personally had with property owners to, one, develop my skills, but two, to be able to understand how to hire real talent.
So talking to these 45,000 people, what were you doing? Like, do you do anything in the background? Is it kind of just like on autopilot, or like, how's that go?
Yeah. The first 1,000 people you talk to, it's the scariest thing of all time.
Yeah.
Right. Everything's going through your head. Right. I am screwing this all up. I should have said this. I shouldn't have said that. This person's mad at me. We're not used to a lot of rejection. We're not used to just being like, oh my gosh, this person is mad at me. I'm interrupting their day. I'm interrupting their life. And, and you're not used to that. You don't have a lot of reps with that. And so once you get past that point, I would just draw or whatever else. I mean, you want to be able to be focused, but some people play video games, some people read, some people.
I don't know how you read and do that.
I don't know. I mean,
but
some
video
people,
games I could see.
Yeah. I've had people tell me all sorts of different things. They watch sports, but yeah, I mean, you get your mind going, but I think if you look at it like, okay, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be super proactive because I don't have the money to market. See, this is the thing. If you want to go out and get a real estate deal, there's 3 ways, right? You can pay people to call you. That's called marketing.
Yeah.
You can build up your reputation that you're the guy or gal in your market that gets things done.
Yep.
So people refer you deals, or you got to pick up the phone and call people or knock on doors. Yeah. You got to be proactive. You got to go out there and earn it through prospecting.
Yeah.
And that's how most people build their business, because they don't have huge funds to be able to spend on their business. So, I mean, those are the 3 ways that you go out and get there. And the sooner that you can start making those calls and being focused on talking to people, the better you're going to be at it, the faster you're going to get to income, the faster you're going to build your business.
I love it, dude.
Yep.
So I'll say my path has always been very different than most people's paths. I do believe that if you get on the dialer and you just start hammering people, it is going to be one of the quickest ways to, like you said, not only get deals, but improve your skills and just like build your business in real estate. You're going to generate leads. It's the cheapest form to do it. I went a very different path. I started in 2015 by just going on the MLS and just hunting deals. So that was my form of prospecting.
Sure.
And so I wasn't talking to like a ton of people, but I was submitting lowball offers everywhere. I'm like, hey, will you take this? Will you take that? And so I was working on it that way. And then eventually I went to path number 2 of what you said was, hey, how do you become the known guy in your area? And so I really made an effort to cold DM realtors, to become friends with them, go to lunch, go to meetups. And, I would start posting a little bit of content way before I ever figured out like how valuable content was. And sure enough, I got a lot of deals from realtors and wholesalers. And, I also started flipping instead of wholesaling, which was another path that was different than a lot of people. But I will say this, as I reflected on my career, I started to think like, how did I get good at negotiating if I never like talked to that many people? And it actually came from when I was flipping couches. So before I got into house flipping, I was flipping couches like many people know. And I literally flipped over 1,000 couches. And so when you make however many offers it took to go get 1,000 deals, and you go pick up all these couches, you go deliver, you negotiate every step of the way. You're talking to strangers. I'm going in strangers' houses like every day just with my pickup truck.
Yep.
And I realized at that point later on in my career, I was like, man, that couch flipping thing, that's what prepped me to have the comfortability to just go lowball people, talk to people, and do all those things.
Well, you're being proactive. It's the same thing. It's just you're being proactive. You weren't having people call you because you were out there. You didn't have agents when you were starting out in real estate in the first 6 months be like, hey, here's this smoking hot deal. Do you want to buy it type of thing?
No.
You built that reputation over time by reaching out and being proactive on the MLS. And listen, MLS deals are great, but from 2019 to literally June of this year, people weren't getting deals off the MLS. Right? They were the MLS, anything that hit the MLS was getting bid up and bid up and bid up and bid up. Now, in a more normal and a more traditional market, you can do that, right? That's just the truth. But if you build the skills of effectively communicating, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yep.
So, it's interesting because you focused your career. First time I ever met you was back in it was like 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting you, and I'd seen you online. I was like, dude, this guy is killing it. And I think at the time you had like 20,000 YouTube subs, and you were making videos. I'm like, this guy, he's doing it. Like he's coaching, he's making money, he's doing deals. You had your co-work space. It was a cool little vibe. And then I remember one thing you told me. You were like, yeah, my focus, I don't need to be the biggest wholesaler. I don't need to teach people how to do 100 deals. I just want to help people get their first deal.
Yep.
That's all I want to do.
Yep.
And it still looks like to me that's the same plan.
Well, listen, I mean, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
I have a business that has 4 people, right? And I net $1 million a year from it.
Yeah.
Right. And I could have a business that has 40 people and still net $1 million a year from it. That's the important thing that people really need to realize is what is your profitability? And if you want to go bananas and go and have big teams, at some point you're going to have to shrink them down because the ebb and flow of the economy, the ebb and flow of what's going on in real estate, you have to understand it's not always going to be shooting straight up.
Yeah.
So you see people in really great times, and we've both seen this in our industry, in really great times, people really loaded up with a ton of personnel and a ton of marketing and everything. But most companies that are big like that are 90 days away from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Because if their marketing isn't hitting and their deals aren't selling and their overhead is a couple $1 million a year, but they make 4 or 5, and I mean, most of those businesses net like 10, 15%.
Yeah.
And as soon as the accordion of the economy, right? If the economy is like an accordion, as soon as it squeezes in a little bit, that 10, 15% is gone. They have to lay off a ton of people and change tactics. And so I like being small and I like keeping it all. So I take people from doing their first deal to building a business where they can pull themselves out, but keep it small and keep it all.
Keep it tight.
That's it.
Tight and right.
That's it.
So what's new on the horizon for you? I mean, you were telling me the other day, you actually are now the owner of Wholesaling.
That's
which
right.
is interesting.
Yeah.
So you start out as a student and talent, and now you bought it. How'd that go about?
Yeah, it was incredible. Tom Kroll, who I mentioned before, he was at a point in his life where he wanted to sell the company. He sold it to a friend of mine, and that friend ran it for a couple of years and decided he wanted to get rid of the brand. And so I was at the right place at the right time.
Mm.
Was able to buy it.
Distressed seller.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I like buying everything wholesale. You know what I mean? Like I do. But it was a perfect opportunity. I love the brand. I love the company. I love the people that worked for the company. And so it was hand in glove. I think it was just the timing of it.
Right.
Yeah.
What are the plans to expand the brand, or is it just to keep the status quo? Like what do you think you're going to do?
Yeah. I mean, it's the brand's been around since 2013, Wholesaling Inc.
Yep.
And they just passed the torch to me. So I'd like to pour some gasoline on that torch.
Oh, here we go, baby.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, listen, if you don't have a plan to grow, and if you're just trying to keep it just real, let's just keep things cool. Let's like get complacent. And it's easy to slip into that.
Yeah.
Especially once you have a business that is doing really well.
I fall into that.
That's when you get caught. You get comfy, you get caught. And I had a friend that always used to tell me that. And so it's at this point, it's just I just bought it 120 days ago. Now it's just making the transition, and now it's just growing it and bringing in the right people.
That's awesome.
That's it.
So one thing that we were talking about.
That's my political answer to it. I don't know, Ryan. Listen, I love the brand. I want it to grow, but I don't know what the next 5 years. Like I don't have a 5 year, well, we have to be at, $100 million in 5 years type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm more of, okay, let's get the right people together. And I know based on talking to you, I know based on talking to Pace and Jamil and Josiah and to Matt Andrews and to some great people that we know in our lives that have grown and built businesses like this, the personnel that you need, and then bring them in and figure out how to grow from there.
Yeah. No, I agree. So one thing that you and I were talking about, this is back in 2018. I remember you saying something else where you were like, yeah, I don't even like debt, dude. Like I want to keep everything nice and tight, like you're saying, including all the rentals I buy. Like I want to buy them cash and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a strategy. Like I only want to buy in good school districts. And this is something that really screws up a lot of people in real estate investing. They go out and they can get a creative finance deal. They can take over somebody's loan. They could buy a bunch of rentals. They could buy a bunch of multifamily, but it's in an area that's never going to appreciate.
Yeah.
It's not in an economic center. So what you're doing is you're just kicking down the road. 80% of the wholesale deals that we do are from tired landlords.
Right.
That means that somebody had a beautiful dream, Ryan, of building this great rental portfolio, and they were going to do this, and this is going to be this is their wealth build, right? And they sell it for exactly what they bought it for, except for they've had nightmares for the last 12 years or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I only want to I use wholesaling as my ATM machine to go and buy really good real estate in really good areas at the right time. And I've seen this because I've seen, and you've seen it in Vegas, but in Phoenix, we went down 80% in the downturn.
Right.
I saw friends of mine picking up properties that are now worth 10 times what they bought it for. Right? Timing matters in real estate. They go, when's the best time to buy real estate? When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, right? Buy it and never sell it, and life's going to be great. It's bullshit. That is bullshit. I am telling you, there are right times to buy real estate, and there's right areas to buy real estate. And I think when real estate's going bananas, you wholesale as much as possible, build that nest egg, build that war chest that you can go out and buy these deals that are going to be popping up now with interest rates going down and recession and all these other, talks. And I think we have professionally 3 to 5 times in our lifetime that we could take advantage of really good deals.
So you think we're entering one of those seasons?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends. I mean, people get freaked out by interest rates rising, but it's pretty much what it was when I started this business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the market was going crazy, but interest rates were at 7 and 8%.
It's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
when you're used to 3%.
Yeah, when you're used to nothing, right? I mean, it's incredible, and it's been fun, but I think we're entering into a more normal market. What I'll say is this: as more properties hit the market, there's going to be more opportunities to buy ugly properties at really good prices, invest into those properties, and then you've got an unbelievable asset.
But you only want ugly properties in the right areas.
100%.
Right.
100%. I hear all these people. I got 100 doors. Where? Elephant's Breath, Indiana. It's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But it cash flows great, but you'll never be able to sell it.
Yeah.
And you're one cash. Like, I think people also make the mistake that they're like, I'm going to buy a bunch of rentals so I could get passive cash flow so I don't have to work anymore. That is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, if you're living off of the cash flow right now of your properties, you're one,
couple repairs away.
One repair away. Yeah. One updating. Properties need updating. Things are out of date in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need to update. You need to make sure that the mechanicals are all working. You need to make sure that, you can't just go, oh yeah, I'm going to be retired at 30 owning all these rentals. And maybe if you get to the point where it's really, really going, but you need to make sure that you're not in a position where all of a sudden all that cash flow has to go be reinvested into that asset because it's no longer getting the rents that you want it to get because it's dated or it's beat up or the tenants have just totally destroyed it.
Yeah.
So I think that you use real estate as a long-term plan to build incredible wealth and to get to the point where you're getting cash flow, but it's not something that you live off of that cash flow.
Real quick, if you haven't heard, my book, The Wealthy Way, is coming out December 13th. I have been working on this book for years, and I'm super excited about it, and I want to have a massive launch, and I need your help. So here's what we are going to do. You can actually pre-order the book on Amazon right now on the Kindle version. And the best part is that Kindle version is only going to be 99 cents. Now, this book is a lot more valuable than 99 cents, but I want to get it in everyone's hands. So you can support by ordering it there right now. Now, on December 13th, you can get access to the paperback, you can get access to the Audible and all that good stuff. But that's not all we're doing. If you want to really support and leave a review for the book, I'm actually going to be giving away a free course that I created called Business Builder Academy. This is teaching everyone how to start a business from start to scratch, how to figure out your branding, your products, sales, marketing, everything that I've done to start up all of my businesses. I've put into this academy, and I'm gonna give it to you completely free as long as you leave a review on Amazon. So think about it. You can go buy the book for $1, leave a review, and get a course worth thousands. So if you want to support and you want to get access to that, go to wealthywaybook.com, okay? wealthywaybook.com. You'll be able to go pre-order it. You'll be able to submit proof of your review, and you're going to get access to that course. So I appreciate all you guys. Let's have a huge launch for this book and change some lives.
Yeah, no, we have the same perspective. And I learned this the hard way when I first got started, right? You hear about the Midwest being this great cash flow market. And so what did I do? I literally bought a house in 7 different states.
Right.
So I bought one in Saginaw, Michigan. I bought one in somewhere, Indiana, wherever you called Elephant's Butt or something, Indiana.
Breath.
Elephant's Breath, Indiana. I bought one in a triplex, 2,400 square feet in Pennsylvania for $12,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this is the best deal ever. Like, there's no way you lose. And sure enough, I sold it for what I bought it for, after years of owning it. And like, you're like, this is not worth the headache to go make a few $100 if I make the few $100.
Right.
Right. And, anyways, I sell all my Midwest stuff. And then I realized over time, man, that stuff I bought in Vegas 5 years ago, that stuff I bought in Big Bear, California 5 years ago, the house I paid $200,000 for, the little 900 square foot cabin in Big Bear is now worth $500,000 in 5 years. Right. And I'm like, just that one deal was far better than all of those combined. And I look at a lot of the houses I was looking at in Vegas where they didn't necessarily cash flow 5 years ago. I remember looking at houses that were, $300,000 at the time. The mortgage would have been $1,800. It would have rented for $1,800. And so you'd have lost money. And I saw hedge funds and people buying them. And I'm like, this makes no sense. These guys are idiots. And then 5 years later, you see, oh, well, this house is worth $600,000 now.
Yep.
And, even if you kept that $1,800 mortgage, it's now, renting for $3,000, right? And maybe if you refinance that mortgage, it also is also $1,300 now with the 3% rates that we had. And so it's like, yep, that was actually the better deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's interesting. So I had my, I got this like family office, right? That manages my wealth essentially. And I go, can you go at current market rents? How much real estate do I have to own free and clear to net $1 million a year after taxes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It was like $33 million.
You're like, I got to make a lot of money.
$33 million. And most people, what they do, Ryan, right? You get debt on that, you get leverage, right? And that would be like $120 million portfolio if you were just bought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For $1 million net.
Yeah.
Like you have 7 companies that you've built over a few years that do, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think that there's a big shift. I think that, the old school of more really millionaires are made from real estate than anything else ever. Yeah, sure. Like in 1930, when that quote came out from Andrew Carnegie, for real, it's from 1930. Great.
I've always wondered where the quote came from.
Yeah, Andrew Carnegie. And so that's great. Right now, it's from building a business.
Yeah.
So I always say, first, go get a deal, whatever business it is, whatever it is, make income.
Yep.
Like pull income out of the air. The first time that you go from faith that you can be a business owner to fact that you can actually make income is like life changing.
Yeah.
Your brain like all of a sudden changes. And this is what we talk about in wholesaling real estate. I think it's the perfect way to get into real estate. If people want to they read Rich Dad Poor Dad, they want to be real estate investors, they want to build a great portfolio, they want to build it. The first thing is go do your first wholesale deal, right? Make some income,
right? And
then do enough to where you can replace your current income, so you could do the business full time.
Yep.
Then pay off all consumer debts,
mm-hmm.
because why be somebody else's ROI? Because if you're paying interest, right? Average American from January to October is paying interest and taxes. So they got 2 months to try to build wealth from. So get rid of all that and then start investing in the assets. And then you've got the passive cash flow. That's the process there. But people are like, well, I'm going to just keep my job and I'm going to buy these assets. I'm going to buy these things. And then all of a sudden you take your eye off the ball and you can't give your attention to your real estate portfolio, and it crumbles right in front of you.
Yeah. I have realized the same thing as well, where even when I was building my real estate business back in 2015, I remember listening to Bigger Pockets and everyone's like, yeah, you got to get your passive income. You got to do this. And I'm like, I don't know about that, because this house, if I were to keep it, would make me $200 a month, but I can flip it right now and make $25,000. I think the $25,000 is going to change my life a little more than the $200. And I can now take that and buy more deals.
That's
and
it.
Grow my business. And that's exactly what I did. I ignored rentals for years and became a millionaire from just flipping houses. And then I started to cherry pick a deal here or there. But I never, ever focused on rentals. It was never a thing I did. And then what I learned as I went on and started building business to make more money, I was like, oh, rentals are just for taxes. That's why everyone does it. It's not about the cash flow. Like the lie of the cash flow, like that's the biggest lie in real estate.
Yes.
It's the taxes and the appreciation that people are really concerned about.
Yeah.
And that shifted my mind.
I mean, that's why people build the rental portfolios. But a lot of people don't realize that, yeah, you can buy a bunch of real estate and depreciate it, but you have to buy like 7 times your income a year in real estate to write off 100% of your taxes. Right?
Unless you get a cost segregation. But yeah.
You could, I'm talking about cost segregation. I mean, you could do it all the way down as much as you want, but that property better be worth 7 times what you made that year. So you could buy a ton of little properties, or you can buy one big property.
Right.
You know what I mean? It helps, but I mean, you're going to pay taxes either way.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Well, unless you get really good at buying properties with other people's money, right? If
Right.
if you can start
Well, you're talking
syndicating-
syndication.
if you can start syndicating and raising a whole bunch of money to buy expensive properties and you get a piece of all these deals, then you can really start to get to zero.
But that's much different than going out there and buying a house down the street from you, or you lived in this house, you're going to keep it, and you bought a new house and you're going to keep that old house as a rental.
Right. No, 1,000%.
You got to get big deals to be able to write that much off.
Right.
Yeah.
But I agree with you 100% that at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is not think about how to buy more rentals and grow passive income. It's just, how do I make more money in whatever business I'm in? If I'm a W-2 worker for some other company, is there a way to make more money doing what I do? If I'm a sales guy, how do I get better at selling? If I'm, whatever, I enjoy the corporate ladder, how do I freaking move up the corporate ladder or make a switch to a different company with my skills, right? And if you own a business, then the sky's the limit, right? And you can grow the business to whatever you feel like growing the business to. You could start other verticals, like for me, I've realized like, oh, okay, this is an emerging industry. This looks interesting. Let me go try a business here. Let me go try a business there. And like, I've tried and both succeeded and failed at many different ventures. And, for me, I'm just like, building businesses is the number one way to build wealth.
100%. Build a business that finds ugly houses, wholesales. I mean, you made this transition from your flipping company to more wholesaling, and it's lower risk. You don't have to have nearly the overhead.
Right.
You don't have to worry about market shifts. You go out there, you find these properties, you sell it to people that want to add to their portfolio or do the flips themselves. You build a system in place to where then you replace yourself in that business. And now you've got passive cash flow coming from an actual real estate business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you get to cherry pick the rentals you do want to keep.
That's the cherry on top.
Right.
You get to get the best deals at the best discounts in the best areas because you see it. You're the one sourcing it. You're going directly to the property owner or getting them off the MLS, and you get these incredible deals. And that's how I think is a smarter way to build your wealth long-term in real estate.
Right.
Find the deals, get a bunch of cash, build the system, get passive cash flow from your businesses. And I love Andrew Carnegie and all the stuff that he said and all that he built and watching the History Channel on him and everything. But now millionaires are made from building businesses.
Yeah, I had an insurance guy on. Actually, no. Well, Bradley, you can call him an insurance guy now because that's what he's doing with one of his new businesses. But he was like, insurance has made more millionaires than any other industry. I'm like, hold on, dude. Okay. There's a quote that has been around forever, the real estate. He's like, nope, it's insurance. Go ask Surrey. And I'm like, I don't know what industry is making the most millionaires. It could be Bitcoin. It could be
business.
Yeah, it's business.
Just business.
Yeah.
Like grow a business. Like actually be an owner of a business and really build something special that's going to give you that passive cash flow. Then go buy the assets.
Yeah, if you build a business, it's far easier to build a business that makes you 10 grand a month than to go buy millions of dollars of real estate.
100%. But it starts with your first deal. It starts with your first whatever it is, whatever you want to sell or do. It starts with making income that first time and then replacing your current income so that you can actually build a business and go full time. And don't hire people too early. Earn the right to have the responsibility, the financial responsibility of the people that work for you and work with you and their families. You have the responsibility of that in your hands. Don't take it lightly.
No.
You need to learn leadership. You need to be in the trenches. You need to flip 1,000 couches. You need to talk to 45,000 people. I truly believe this, Ryan.
Yeah.
I really think that at the end of the day, when it's not just a market that's going bananas and everybody wins in it, when it's the real normal or flat market or whatever economy, those are the people that are going to be long lasting. Those are the people that aren't just like firecrackers that shoot up into the sky. They look great. Then they explode and they're gone.
Yeah.
And we see that all the time. And I don't want that to happen to anybody watching this. You know what I mean? Anybody listening to the podcast, whatever it is, like it is incredible when you can look back on your hustle season and it's almost nostalgic
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You feel nostalgic when you're talking about going and picking up these stinky couches, making them not stinky anymore, selling them to other people. Me talking and getting cussed out by literally tens of thousands of people for interrupting their day. But that's what I had to do to get to this point. You know what I mean? That's what you have to do to understand and build a business that is going to last and it's going to be profitable, and you can bring people into it with the confidence that you know that you can have the financial responsibility of them in your hands.
Yeah.
Because you earned it.
You earned it. And I was going to ask you, but I'll answer something with it too, is that, you know, you mentioned leadership. It's like, how do you build leadership skills, right? Somebody's probably thinking that like, yeah, of course, I'd like to be a better leader, but how do I do it? And it got me to thinking like, I don't ever consider myself having like been a leader growing up, right? But I lead a lot of people now. And I was thinking, just like I was thinking about the couches and becoming a good negotiator, I was thinking, how do you become really good at things? And then it led me down the path of good to great. Have you read that book?
Oh, yeah.
And he talks about this hedgehog concept with the 3 wheels, right? And I've referenced this a few times, but like, you know, one of them is, can this be your economic engine? Another one is, are you super passionate about it? The third one is, are you world-class at it, right? And so you're like, yeah, real estate, wholesale, totally can do an economic engine. You can make a lot of money. Are you passionate about it? Well, you're definitely passionate about it. You're fired up to talk to people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then how do you become best in the world at it, right? And I started to think, well, what am I best in the world at? I was like, well, at one point, I was a best in the world baseball player, and I spent hours, like, how did I get there? Not by reading about it. I took hours of practice and eating and working out, and I did everything humanly possible. I got coaching. I became world class. And then I started to think, okay, what did I do in business? Well, I spent hours and hours doing different businesses, right? The fact that I could go from couches to real estate to social media to education to tax to all these different verticals and, you know, understand them. I'm like, okay, now I have a business mind only because I've spent thousands and thousands of hours in different industries. And then, you know, you go to social media, right? And people are mad they're not getting good at social media right away. And I'm like, do you know how many videos I filmed? Like, I have filmed so many videos. I've watched myself so many times analyzing and figuring out, how should I have said that? I could have said that differently. I didn't get to the point quick enough, and I've analyzed it. And most people, you know, when they want to get good at a skill, they always look for the easy way out. When in reality, the simple answer is, yeah, I could tell you to read a book on leadership, but you know how you're going to get good at leadership? Going out and leading people and seeing how they respond. Oh, they don't like your style? Switch it up. You know, you're not getting a good result? Well, it's probably you. It's not them.
Yep. Well, and people think that they have to do it themselves, that they have to, that they're on an island by themselves and they can do it by just listening to podcasts and reading books and everything. And those are all excellent. And I think books and podcasts and YouTube and everything is the plunger that plunges all the negativity and all the things that are gross that get thrown at us on a daily basis out of our mind so we can focus on actually providing value to the marketplace. But there's people that I'm sure even playing baseball and even business that were a few steps ahead of you, right? Just a few steps, whether it be when you were playing in junior high, you saw somebody in high school or college or pro or whatever else, and you see what they're doing and you see what's going on there and you see what their work habits are and you see how they manage these things. And when you have that, it's a roadmap. You just have to put in the work and follow it. You know what I mean? Everything's already been done. Everything.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything's been done. So, like, how do you find the people that you can connect with, that you can squat up with, that are doing amazing things and be so proactive that they want to be around you too? And you just can't do it if you're being passive, not as a business owner.
You know what I find interesting is I've been trying to go down the path of doing things that haven't necessarily been done or on the, like, they're new. They're trying to be done, right? And so with my NFT project, Tykes, it's like, yeah, there's not really many people who are doing that and trying to figure out how to merge real estate with blockchain and stuff. And, you know, it's very hard when you're blazing a trail,
Mhm.
but the reward is great.
Yeah.
if it works, right?
Yeah, but why go into that? You had to have seen somebody successful at some part of that, and
Well,
you add your flavor to it, right?
Exactly. Yep. Well, I had saw NFT's popularity in crypto, and I'm like, dude, these crypto guys are not that smart. To see how many of them are becoming millionaires overnight, and some even billionaires. Like Bored Apes is valued at over $1 billion. I'm like, I could do that. Like,
Right.
I've been in the trenches of far more difficult things.
Yeah, but you probably found somebody that knew that world.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, what I did was I ended up just buying a ton of projects and joining them myself. And I
Awesome.
spent hundreds of thousands
There you go.
just joining all these different communities, and I'm trying to understand, hey, why are you in here? What do you guys do? Like, and so, yeah, it was definitely a lot of just trying it myself, and then seeing how other people had success with launches and why some failed, and just observing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the path was laid.
Yeah.
You saw that. You weren't like the guy that created
I made Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. You're the guy.
I am Satoshi.
Yes, that's it. We finally discovered him.
You got me, guys.
Yeah.
I created it. I fell, I left, and now I'm back.
Well, better than ever.
They say that, well, I don't know what Bitcoin's price today, but they say, like, if Satoshi was still around and he had access to his wallet, he'd be the richest man in the world.
Really?
He has that
Incredible.
much Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But he also, if he ever came back alive and like his wallet started selling Bitcoin, people would freak out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this
Flood the
guy's
market.
dumping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Crazy times, dude. I mean, what's next for you, man? I mean, is there anything else on the horizon you're working on?
Yeah, man, you've inspired me. I'm trying to grow as much as I can with my audience on YouTube, on podcasts, and all those things. It's been an incredible journey, and I'd like to think that I don't put any fluff in there. It's all instruction, and so just growing that. I built a great studio, and and just doing what I do. I love coaching people. I love getting people to their first deals in wholesale. I love getting people beyond that to building their own businesses.
Do you have
and
any
I'm
other?
focused.
Do you have any other businesses that are outside of real estate?
No.
Everything's just
Yeah.
purely wholesale, real estate.
Yep. Yeah,
Let's focus.
I am super focused.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love your book and your philosophy of having your weekends.
Yeah.
Right. And having the ability to focus and be able to do that. You've just got a bigger engine than I do. You just do. You have a bigger engine than I do. And so I know that if I focus on on my wholesale business, I can keep that growing and do phenomenal things and really build wealth in Phoenix, Arizona. And two, with the coaching and training company, I know if I could focus in on just that and really pour into that I can make it the best that it can be.
Yeah.
And so, I stay super focused.
So let's talk about this, actually. It's a great question because a lot of people who watch me are like, well, I want to own a lot of businesses like Ryan does and be diversified and all this stuff. And I always have to tell people, I'm like, you got to remember, I did not start all of these while I was building. This is all like very recent, right? I had to learn how to flip houses and do that for 5 years.
Yep.
And that was all I was focused on. And then I realized, oh, well, people who flip houses could use this. They could use that. They probably are interested in this, and then as opportunities came along, I started more things. But, I think something that you just said that was interesting was you said you have a bigger engine. And what do you mean by that? And as it relates to, I guess, me and other people, like, are you just talking natural ability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that you have the ability to see opportunities in a bunch of different places, and you've got enough acumen in business that you're able to go, okay, I can take this part and plug it into this business and it'll run effectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this position where I've been a real estate agent and wholesaler for a long time, and now I'm just owning a coaching and training business 120 days in. Now, we could have a totally different conversation 3 years from now, 3
Right.
months from now, 5 years, whatever it is. But at this point, I'm going to stay focused on what I'm at because I'm in that season in my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you went and you really focused on your flipping business. You made that incredible. You got a great coach and to really put all your processes in place, and then you're able to put that into other places. So that's what I mean as an engine.
Yeah.
Is that you have that acumen to be able to look at a business and opportunity and some of the other things that you're into and just do, I don't know about NFTs. I don't know about, you know what I mean? You're doing accounting things. I'm like, that would drive me crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe it's part personal preference, but maybe it's just, I just think that you have a bigger mind for business than I do.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Well, and
know?
I think you mentioned my coach, Gary Harper. He's been in this podcast too. I always talk about him. But, he did help me, like you said, focus on fixing my house flipping business and documenting it and processes and everything. And I did take what he taught me and applied it to a lot of verticals. And then I had him in my office last month, and he's coming back actually later this month to check on us.
Yeah.
And he was the one who was like, you know what you're about to do? You're going to go acquire businesses now. You're going to move beyond having to do a startup on everything. You're going to go out and you're going to go acquire because it's going to be way easier. And I started to look at like all these other guys who were doing that. And I'm like, that's the next evolution of business. You, instead of having to go do it all yourself, you just acquire and help other people do it.
Yep.
So I like that. But one thing that I really was thinking about as you were talking was other people, right? The reason that I love real estate is because I do believe anyone can obviously make a lot of money in real estate. There's no cap to what you can make. There's lots of ways to do it. I believe like many people are passionate about real estate. Like most people I talk to, even if they've never done a deal, they're like, dude, super into real estate. Like I want to get in the game. Like I know I need to. And even with guys who I do know make a lot of money, they're like, bro, I'm tired of paying taxes. I'm tired of doing that. Like I want to get into real estate. So I know that passion's there. And then, so it's just like, how do you become really good at it? And I just truly believe anyone can be good at it. What do you think?
100%. I've proven it. I've taken people that like were like mousy type personalities that were like, I don't really feel comfortable. I'm an introvert. I've got, people that have either their family or friends or people throughout their life have labeled them or they've labeled themselves an introvert, and they don't have a huge budget to get into real estate. They can't just go and buy rentals or go and pay for a bunch of marketing. So they have to go and be proactive, but they read something or they were around somebody and they were like, real estate is what I want to do. Right. And it's just a different type of brain, in my opinion. It's just a different type of person, and somebody that had never talked to anybody to be in like going absolutely bananas, like 100,000 the first year, 250 the next year, growing and growing and growing. And people that English is their second language, right? People that have had like people that live in Africa. Like I have a student that lives in Nigeria and he's doing deals in Houston and and English was not his first language, right? Crushing.
Well, if he's in Nigeria, most people probably think he's a scammer.
Right.
If he's calling.
Right. And so he has to get over all of that and still doing deals.
Right.
Still out there being able. So I think absolutely anybody on planet Earth can do it, but especially if you live here. Especially if you live here and if you have an interest, you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you're like, okay, this is great. This is the why I should be a real estate investor, but I don't know the how. Here's the how. Right at the camera. Go out there, find an ugly house. Go online and get the phone number. True People Search, White Pages, Batch Skip Trades, whatever you want to do. Get the phone number, call them up and ask them, when do you plan on selling this property?
Yeah.
And do that enough, you will do deals.
Right.
It is inevitable. The stats are 1 out of 200 conversations you have with a distressed property owner, you're going to get a deal, and that average deal size is $15,000.
That's just the average.
That's average.
That's the crappy people, the good people.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the average.
If you get good,
and then from there, that builds your confidence.
Yeah.
That builds you. Like some people have never, ever made money outside of a paycheck. You know what I mean? Or if they did, it was like allowance when they were little, or it was like they sold like their old TV or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not earned income. That's not providing value to the marketplace. But you go out and you solve the problems of a distressed property owner.
You're adding value.
They pay you really well.
Yeah.
The market pays you really well.
Yep.
Yep.
No, and I agree. I think that's why I'm still so passionate about real estate is like, hey, you don't know what you want to do with your life? Get into real estate.
Mhm.
Like wholesaling, flips, Airbnb. I don't really care. Just get into real estate. There's lots of ways that you can do this business. And, I'm in other businesses. And so like, I know how hard it is to run other types of businesses. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that real estate's the best thing ever compared to other businesses. It's not. If you could hit big on tech, things like that, you're gonna like make way more money than
Yep.
the real estate investors. But the odds are so much more stacked against you in other industries. Whereas real estate, you don't have to worry about really disruption. It's always gonna be here.
Yep.
People always gotta, have places to live.
Mhm.
Houses are always gonna get run down over the years.
Yep.
Over time, it's always going to appreciate, right? You don't have to worry about that. A lot of the economy is built on things to do with housing.
Yep.
So it's like just to me, the safest industry there is.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It broke my brain. The first time I got like a $50,000 check from real estate, it broke my brain forever. Like I remember I was shaking in the kitchen. My wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do this again. I don't know if what to do with this money. Like this is so much. Like we had like 14,000 in our checking account. Now it's 64,000. Like this is crazy. I did it from picking up the phone and calling somebody, and it was just and then you start thinking bigger, right, Ryan? You go, okay, well 50,000. Like, okay, what about 75? 75. If I did 50, I could do 75. And then you go 100,000, and then you start thinking in terms of $250,000, $500,000, $1 million deals. And I think that's how you progress. If people are wondering what is the path to be able to get into real estate without having any money down, it's you can certainly go and do no money down techniques to get real estate. I think a smarter plan is to go out there and find an ugly house, sell it to somebody that's a few steps ahead of you,
Right.
and do the business full time and then build from there.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. At the end of the day, if you're going to do, rentals, right? It's like you're not going to get rich right away. It's not going to change your life today. 10 years from now, sure. If
Yep.
you buy in the right area,
Yeah.
right? You do a creative finance deal, you take over someone's mortgage. Great. But you're not really making anything today.
Yeah.
Like the only way to really make money today is to get a good deal.
That's it. and listen, you can get a good deal with this thing. This is the portal.
Yeah.
This thing right here has made me over $10 million in wholesale fees and flips and whatever else just with that.
Right.
Just picking up the phone and calling people. You don't have to overthink this, and you don't have to try to delegate it too fast. Just do the work. And once you build that's a skill that people can't take away from you.
What's your take? I'm just curious. As somebody who's on social media, are you telling people to get on social media for their business?
100%. That was my 2021 word of the year.
Social media?
Get loud.
Oh, get loud.
I guess that's 2 words, but get loud. Yeah. I said, document your journey. Just go on, because you'll only get referrals, or you'll only be a magnet for other people that want to do whatever business you're in.
Right.
And tell people, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is exciting, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm doing this thing. Tell me what you guys think. If you know a better way to do this, let me know. Right?
Yeah.
And then you just do that, and you just post, and you be brave, and you just turn the phone around and use it as a tool.
Mhm.
And so, 1, it's your portal to be able to pick up the phone and communicate with people. But 2, you get loud on social media, you document what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you have cheerleaders.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're starting to connect with people that are like, hey, wait, I do this. Do you need some help? Or, and I'm doing my first whatever it is in business. You want to do it together? You want to talk about it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you start building that the wind gets behind your sails. You know what I mean? And you're not just sitting in your dark living room, just kind of like, well, I hope I can do business today type of thing. You know what I mean? You're louder, and you're bringing energy and enthusiasm to what you're trying to do. And I think that it's powerful.
I also think it's another layer of accountability to yourself, right? Because
Absolutely.
even for me, I'm like, yeah, people know exactly what I'm doing, right? And I don't want to let the people down,
Mhm.
right? Like if people are expecting me to do crazy things and continue to grow and everything else, like number one, I mean, for me, it's for me, number one. But two, it's like, yeah, you know what? I do care about just like providing value and continuing to do what I've been doing. I don't want to just become irrelevant and go off the map. And, I think if you're just getting started, that accountability will help, right? If you sit there on the camera and you say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then you'd never do it again, it's like, yeah, that nobody's going to really believe you anytime you say anything.
Yeah.
But if you just are constantly showing up, even if you're failing, it shows something like, dude, this guy's grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a whole studio. I got a whole thing. I got all the cameras. I got Daniel. Like, I got all these incredible things now. Before, they were like, hey, when I joined Wholesaling Inc. as a coach, they're like, we need you to go on and do like an hour a week on our Facebook page. And I was like, what? Lives? No. Everybody's going to think I'm like a total douche. Like, why would I do that? Why would I? No, that's like these self-limiting thoughts that go through your head. And then you get on there and people are like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, this is cool. Thanks a lot. And then you just start answering questions and doing and participating. And then all of a sudden, you don't have that fear anymore, and you can do it and do it. And you know what I mean? Remember the first time you like turned it on and really went for it?
Yep.
It feels awkward. Your voice sounds weird. You think that, you're 20 pounds heavier than you are, whatever,
right.
and you're just like, man, I just don't know. But you get through that.
Right.
And then it is so critical as a business person to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, 1,000%, man.
I do.
Well, bro, I'm excited for you in this new endeavor.
Thank you.
Being the owner now. You've earned it.
Thank you.
You've been the face. You're changing lives. You're bringing the energy. I'm fired up to go wholesale more, even though, I've been doing, I'm like, bro, all right, we need to talk to more people.
That's it.
That's it. Like,
That's it.
Let's just talk to more sellers. We're going to make more money.
That's it.
It's that simple.
This is the time to clean up.
Yeah.
This is the time. I'm telling you, we went through a time where the sellers were still thinking that the prices were what they were earlier this year. Now they're coming around.
Yeah.
And the buyers are starting to come back into the market because interest rates are it's supposed to go up today, but but only half, right? And so it'll go up a little bit, but as long as it's not as turbulent with interest rate increases, buyers are going to be there, sellers are going to be there. It's a perfect time.
Yep.
It's an honor to be on here. Thank you.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll go give Brent a follow, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Thanks for making it to the end. The good news is I've got another one that I know you're going to like, and all you got to do is click it right here, linking it right here. All you got to do is just click it, and you're going to see this new episode that you're going to love.